Please make sure you subscribe to my channel and also hit the bell icon for all future notifications. Thank you so much.
And like I say, you should always listen with your eyes, with your ears, and with your heart. And then you should take a pause and then open your brain. Till you're listening, the brain should be shut.
Give your all in whatever you do. That way, you leave yourself with no choice but to excel. The purpose of this show is to help you introduce with the journey of people and ideas so that you could execute on your dream. Today, on Beautiful People with Aniket, we have an international corporate speaker and executive coach, a trainer with a experience spanning more than 2 decades. She has been invited as a speaker on international platforms like TEDx, and she has been associated with the aviation industry since 18 years now. Please help me welcome the founder of Personage Corporation Private Limited, Vinee Ajmera. Welcome, Vinee. I'm so glad to have you on the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Great. So, as a matter of coincidence, we both started a career from Jet Airways.
Yes, we did.
That's amazing.
And I love the fact that I did start my career with Jets.
When was that? Which year?
98.
Oh, wow, 1998. I started it in 2010. So, that's in fact my first question. Aviation and training and coaching. These are like two fields way apart. How did you switch from aviation to training?
So, people think they are two fields which are way apart, but if you really ask me, they are people-driven businesses. At least what I was in, I was a cabin crew, so it was more to do with customer service, people, understanding people, their needs, being empathetic. And as my career progressed, of course, there was a gap between I did aviation and I was a cabin crew for 9 years, and then I was working with SR Group for a learning initiative on arts and literature. But again, that was about learning, about people, how people want to excel in different areas other than just their mainstream profession. And after that, I decided at some point that I needed to go out on my own to figure out what's out there for me. And it was just a natural progression, to be honest, because it was again related to people. I think when you're a cabin crew, you start having a better understanding of people. You get to interact with so many of them. When I flew international with Singapore Airlines, I was, we'd have this positions where we had to receive passengers, and sometimes you would be at the door receiving them if you were working in that position, which meant you were greeting, at a time maybe even 200 passengers or 250 passengers. And invariably, when you'd see them, you'd know who's going to give you trouble or who's going to be charming or who's going to go to sleep. And I'm not saying every time we were right, but more often than not, it was just such a natural prediction.
Wow. And was there a specific calling that made you, as you said, that it's all about you get empathetic towards people? So was there a specific calling that pulled you towards this profession? Because what I believe is training is something where you create value for individuals, right, on a direct level. So was that a specific calling, or how did you explore that this is the next thing that you would be doing?
So for me, it was a natural progression. I think I always wanted to do that, but without defining it, without meaning it. I am not the regular, I'll give you my shoulder person anyway. Okay. So from the time I was little, I was more a let's find you solutions person. So I had very little bandwidth. In fact, even listened to people moaning a lot. So I don't think it was a calling of that nature where I wanted to be there for people who were let's say distressed.
Uh-huh.
It was more I think like I told you this earlier also. It was more about seeing the potential in people and helping them tap into it.
Great.
So I think, but that was not a known thing. It's not something I did knowingly. That it's something that people understood and they brought it to my notice.
Great. And speaking of the thing that I'm a huge fan of is your CAR terminology,
Yes.
where you speak about communication, authenticity, and resilience. And what I want to ask you is, how is CAR so important in our personal as well as private life?
There are many skills which are important, but the reason I hold on to CAR very dearly is because it covers a broad spectrum, first to begin with. Second, a lot of a lot of goodness and a lot of evil comes from communication. Issues or even niceness, right? Even getting along with somebody. So when you look at the world today, what is lacking, then you'd see that what the world lacks today is trust. What the world lacks today is kindness, understanding, appreciation, gratitude. And what are the few things which can actually hone these up in an interaction or in, let's say, me connecting with you or you connecting with me, or even in my experiences in the world, like what I'm going through in life, whether it's a difficult time or it's a successful time. A lot of people can't even handle success. So when I started doing this study, I actually interviewed a lot of thought leaders, many corporate leaders, many educationists, and I tried to understand from them their perspectives as well. And that's how I funneled it down to these three, which resonated perfectly with me. Because communication, for example, begins with conversations that you have with yourself first. Beautiful, yeah. And then that you have with others. So, and then again, people think conversation or communicating is talking, and talking is not so much communicating. Conveying is communicating, and that could even happen without talking. That said, what would be really important? What are the few things that I would do to hone up my communication, or I would ask everyone to sort of work towards? Is one, try and establish, we've been given the blessing of being able to speak. So a lot of times expressions and words may not match. So somewhere that needs to match, or you need to at least use effective words that can help build trust or positivity in an interaction. So that's really important. I think vocabulary or clarity, and clarity in speech comes when there's clarity in thought. Beautiful. That is so true. So that's another one. And courtesy. So then again, there is this really wonderful saying that my former boss used to say all the time. And he would always say, you get more flies with honey. And I use it all the time because that's true. It's when there's courtesy, there's again little scope. We'll always have differences in life with people, but somewhere if we try to focus on it, maybe we'll start minimizing those. So that's really important. And lastly, connection. Okay. That is just one communication you elaborated with such amazing attributes to it. Yes. So speaking of authenticity and resilience, like how would you elaborate on those aspects on your personal and professional level? So I think okay, so I'll just backtrack. I don't see much difference of anything in personal or professional. So I would be a very wrong person to tell you this works in a personal life and this works in professional life, because to me my professional life is my personal life. True. And honestly my personal life is like my professional life because my family thinks I'm like the strictest person on earth. So I think it's me. That is again your authentic self. So if you're really authentic, your who you are will shine through in any area. You can't change who you are in your it's a maybe your language, or maybe your tone, or maybe even the words that you use which are specific to your industry or function may change, but I don't think courtesy needs to change anywhere. True. Right? I don't think clarity of thought needs to change in personal or professional. So if you ask me, um, personal or professional, I'd say it applies for me. My understanding is you as a person, and then wherever you go, you apply it. Then you won't have to really worry about segregating it. You'll know exactly how to come across. Great. While going through one of your videos, your TEDx talk, if I'm not wrong, I came across this amazing concept where you speak about effective questioning. Right. Okay, and how effective questioning leads to that aha moment. So I'm really inquisitive about knowing it further. Like, what exactly is effective questioning? What do you use it for? And how does that lead to an aha moment? Okay, so I think the biggest base of effective questioning or communication is effective listening, attentive listening. Oh, beautiful, yeah. So a lot of our questions and effective questions will emerge from listening to what is said, and also taking a pause and reflect on what is not said, whether it's body language, whether it's the tone of the person. So try and understand more than what the words are that are spoken to you. Once we try to get there, and we're all working on it. I don't think it'd be right to say that anyone has really, achieved it all. So I'm working on it every single day, and I still get it wrong so many times. But it starts with listening, and once you know what the person is trying to say. And like I say, you should always listen with your eyes, with your ears, and with your heart. And then you should take a pause and then open your brain. Till you're listening, the brain should be shut.
Beautiful. In fact, this is honestly speaking, Vinee, this is something that I struggle with a lot because what happens is there is this initial response, which may or may not be the most appropriate one, and you happen to take that initial response, and then you get clutched with that. But with that kind of an insight, where you first listen with your eyes, your ears, and then your heart, and then you open your brain, that is so amazing. In fact, Vinny, I have been following you for a while now on LinkedIn, and I have been going through videos, and there was this one time back in 2005 where you had gone through turmoil, like you had issues with your marriage. And what I want to ask you is, after that, if I see your journey, you have been excelling in the kind of work that you're doing with personage and the kind of reach that you have, the kind of excellence that you have gained in your profession. What I want to ask you is, when there's a turmoil in your life and when some things are not happening the way you planned them to, but still, how do you maintain that drive and how do you maintain that passionate attitude towards doing something when you have selectively ignore certain things and still be on that path that you choose to be on?
So sometimes it's a matter of no choice, also, right? Other times you've got to know that if something bad is happening or if something troubling is happening, it's not something you want to be with for long.
Wow.
So the more you think about it and the more free you are, like anything that's a conflict sells, even in media conflict sells. So even to your brain, when you're upset or when something angers you, if you realize when you're angry at people, it's a lot easier for a phone conversation or a firing to take away half an hour of your time and you won't realize it. Right? Whereas, so it consumes us. So what I discovered by then I pretty much made up my mind. So a lot of times the decision making takes a toll on you, then the acceptance takes a toll on you. So for me, the acceptance started becoming a little easier when I started distancing myself from that difficult subject.
Wow.
So it wasn't that conscious a thought that okay, I have to get up and start working. But also for most of us, we all come from backgrounds. But I come from a middle class family, so I had to work. It's not that I had the luxury of just, yes, I'd made a lot of money before I got married because I worked international in times when it wasn't common and I was making a lot of money at that time. At that time, the profession of cabin crew paid a lot in comparison, especially international cabin crew. So I had my savings, but I had never really plucked anything out of my savings because every month I had a salary coming in. And now here I was with nothing. I had also lost my self-esteem completely. There was a lot of gaslighting that had happened then. So I did not know if I had it in me. So for me, one, I needed to know that am I still in the market? Will I still get a job to begin with? Second, I don't think for me to excel needed any drive. That was a part of me. So for me to excel needed for me to go out and do something that required of me to do something. And whatever I did, I've always put my 100%, and it's my 100%. So it may be less for some other people, but from my end, I just get into things head on, whatever it is. So I don't think I was looking for a drive at that time to excel. I was looking for the drive to just get busy, start earning because popular statements that money is not everything, it's stupid to believe that. You've got to, even if I felt it was lacking in that because money does give you independence. If you have financial independence, you start exercising the freedom of choice. It makes you feel financially secure, and that security no one can shake you from because that's your own security. So you may look for emotional security to another person because I think it takes a while. I was young at the time, but it takes a while to work on your insight to understand, oh yeah, like emotional security is technically the easiest to find because it's within you. But financial security is out there, just take it, So you have to work, you have to just get up on your feet.
Actually, in fact, they say that money may not be everything, but it is required for everything.
Yes.
Okay. And as I see, your journey has been that you had always been that early moves advantage. Like when people did not know about cabin crew, we were already doing international. And similar such thing is what I realized on the podcast already.
Yes.
Like when podcast is very new to India, you already have your own podcast, Run to Win Well.
Yes.
So can you please share something about firstly what the podcast is about and secondly why podcast?
Okay, so now why podcast is a little bit of a long question, but essentially everything is moving digital. I started listening to podcasts last year, a little over 1 year, sometime back, and it was at the insistence of a friend who
Wow.
said, you need to start listening. There are some really interesting podcasts out there. And I realized it was easy to get clued in, even if you weren't looking at somebody. But if the conversations were interesting and if the subject was of your choice, it was quite cool to be a part of it. You still felt like a part of the conversation. So I enjoyed that. And then, obviously, in my industry, which is into coaching and training, I had a couple of conversations with a couple of very large companies, and they said, we're looking to take most of the training, especially behavioral training and soft skills, digital.
Okay.
So I said, okay, now I can't hold on to what we've been doing all this while because you've got to keep pace with the times. So I said, which is the best way in which I can integrate the two? So I thought podcasting would be a really brilliant way for even a company to drive its culture, and that's how I started thinking. So I learned podcasting.
That is such an amazing insight for me as well. Wow.
So yes, and then when I learned it, and while I was in the course, we had to think of an idea. And I already had my idea set that I'll talk to leaders of companies and I'll see what are their great qualities. And these inspiring conversations, and they are so fantastic when you listen to people. You will always take away something. You'll take away, even if you take away one thing that's impactful, that's good enough.
True.
So I had that plan in mind, and suddenly it occurred to me, hey, wait, I'm a runner and I love fitness. And a lot of times, I'm turning 40 very soon, and a lot of times people will keep asking, how is it that you're 40 and you're single and you're still happy? And I think a lot might have to do with the fact, of course, there's a lot on the inside. You work on your thoughts and your feelings, but it's also got to do with the outside. You've got to work on your fitness, like we all learnt in school. Well, I think everything that we learnt in school is actually what we grow up and then think we've suddenly discovered or we've evolved to. But we were taught that in school, a healthy mind and a healthy body.
True.
So I thought it's just a great way to, one, promote fitness.
And something that relates to you.
It relates to me because I do run. I also
That's
love
really
gymming
makes
a
sense.
lot.
It is something that relates to you. You are more your element comes out when something that relates to you and you're talking about. That's amazing.
Yes, and then the inspiration part. I mean, my space is into maximizing people's potential, and I've been doing that. I won't say I've been doing that unofficially since childhood, and now fairly officially and professionally now. So it only made sense that this inspiration part and the running/fitness part. I mean, the whole idea of running is to drive fitness, not just to keep running. So
True.
I thought I could integrate the two, and that's essentially what I've done. And I launched the podcast, but I've done that in most of the things I do. I try to find that common point. There has to be something binding, in my opinion, your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So then, otherwise, it can be quite easy to get scattered for me. So I try to keep looking for that line which is still coming back to the same thing.
True. So that you keep the purpose converged, no matter whatever on a superficial level, what different things you're doing, but somewhere it all converges. That is so amazing. And it has definitely been an amazing conversation. But before I ask you my last question, please tell my viewers where can they find you online?
Actually, multiple places. They
Yeah.
can find me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. I enjoy that platform a lot. You can also, I have a Facebook page, Vinee Ajmera.
Okay.
I have a handle, Vinee A, on Instagram. More importantly, if you would like to get inspired for fitness and running, then you can look up Run to Win podcast on iTunes or even on any Android podcast app. So multiple places, and if no way, then you can just look for withAniket.com and you'll have my website.
Great, that's amazing. Moving ahead, I would like to ask you that one question: that what is that one impact that you would like to have on the world with the kind of work that you're doing?
I think it's a very big question in the sense, I think you'd have to rephrase that.
Okay.
On the world is still
world
very
around
big,
you,
positivity.
Okay, and
I think I just think things need to be positive. People need to know that they always have a choice. I think everything is about choice, and people think they don't have a choice. So sometimes you're in a trying situation, you don't know how to get out because you feel there's no choice. But I just feel that everyone needs to know that there always is a choice, and there always is a choice to also be less sad and happy, because it's not right for me to say that you can be happy when you're going through something difficult. But there always is a choice to decide when you want to start coming out of it, because that takes a process also. So positivity, I believe in that action. I like it when people are doing something. I think it's really important to be uh, doing something or the other constantly, whether it's even just for yourself. If you're just sitting idle, honestly, even if you're playing a game, but reading or working out or connecting with people rather than just whiling away time with idle thoughts.
That is so good.
So I don't know if that's an impact, but I would like the world to be like, I like happy people around me. And I love people around me, and I'm blessed with very, very nice people around me. So, when you say I did all these things, honestly, it just happened. And I often joke that a lot of directions that I ended up taking, then I crafted more by myself, but a lot of directions I ended up taking were just a matter of luck, just a matter of some blessing from somewhere. And so that works. I think just give out happiness.
Thank you so much, Vinee. In fact, I'm definitely sure that all my viewers were able to have those specific insights from this conversation. The biggest learning that I had today was that you always have a choice. No matter what your difficulties are, no matter what your situation or scenario is, there is always a choice, which actually, gives you that. They say that every dark cloud has a silver lining, something like that. So thank you so much, Vinay. And if you have any comments, any feedbacks, kindly state them in the comment section below. If you have any questions for Vinay, kindly state them in the comment section below. And if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please go ahead and subscribe to #withAniket. Thank you so much.
Thank you.